Pastor George Borghardt, and this is another Higher Things video short. Out of Context Tuesday takes on God is Love. 1 John 4:8. That's the subject of today's Higher Things video short. Hey, if you love our videos, if you've been daring to be Lutheran with us, learning about your faith, learning about how things, the sort of basics of your faith, or some of the hard questions of your faith, or if you just like, hanging with us, go ahead and hit like and subscribe today. The not like button still works too. You can also go to support.higherthings.org and give today. Your tax-deductible gift keeps this ministry, this little ministry, which does conferences for kids and tries to teach them the faith and resource them to defend their faith. Keeps us going. Give today. All right, so we've all heard 1 John 4:8 quoted out of context. God is love. That means you need to be loving to one another. That means you should accept people the way they are. You should accept, whatever alternate lifestyle there is, because God is love. And I don't believe in a loving God, a God who isn't going to love everyone. And I don't believe in a God who, a loving God would send anyone to hell. So, let's check the text. 1 John 4. We're going to go to, it looks like we need to go to the 7th verse, but we're going to have to back up a little bit. Beloved, verse 7, let us love one another, because love is out of God. And all those loving are born out of God and know God. And anyone who doesn't love doesn't know God, because God is love. In this, God's love is manifested in us, that God has sent his Son, his only begotten Son. He's apostled him. He's sent him into the world so that we might live through him. In this is love, not that we loved God, but that he loved us and gave up his Son for us to be a propitiation, and we had a video on this, for our sins. Okay, so love is not in the abstract. Love is not a love song. Love is not all you need is love. That's not what's going on here. Love is specifically connected to one event. God's love is specifically connected to the sending of his Son. In this is love. Not that we love God, but that he loved us and gave up his Son as a sacrifice for our sins. So God's love isn't sort of squishy. It isn't dependent upon you. It doesn't rest upon what's going on with you or anything you. It rests on God sending his Son to die for the sin of the world. And God's love doesn't overlook sins. It's not sort of, nobody can go to hell. Nobody can be punished because God is so loving. No, nobody goes to hell because the Father has sent his Son. Anybody who goes to hell rejects that, lives contrary to that fact. That's God's love. God's love is Jesus dead on a cross, having answered for the sin of the world. That's what God's love is. This is love. Not that we love God, but that he loved us. And the one who receives that love, the love of the Father sending his Son, loves others. All right, there's where the law is not loving others, is sort of contrary to the God who gave up his Son. But this is not, everybody gets to do whatever they want and live however they want, and no one's going to say anything to anyone. This is, God didn't build hell for sinners. He built hell for the devil. And he saved sinners from hell in the giving up of his Son. And so to pull away the love of God from the cross is to use this verse out of context. The only love that's going on in 1 John 4, 7, 8, and following is the love of God giving up of his son. Don't love your neighbor. You deny that God gave up his son. That's what's going on here. But loving your neighbor is not defined as we're going to let people do whatever they want to do or not going to believe in hell. We don't judge because we've not been judged. That's a different verse, John 3:17. We don't judge because he tells us not to judge. Now, that doesn't mean we don't call out sin. There's another video. I hope they put it in the description on judge not lest ye be judged. This is really about the Father giving up of his son. That's the way God defines love. That's why God is against people going to hell. That's why he's put all his saving eggs in the Jesus basket, and his take on it is no one should go there. No one should go to hell. No one need go to hell because the Father has loved us in the giving up of his son. That's 1 John 4, 8. God is love. How's he show that love? Not by singing songs to us and telling us about how romantical he is. You complete me. No, he gives up his son. It's concrete, it's bloody, it's Calvary. That's the love of God, and that's 1 John 4, 7, 8, and following. I'm Pastor George Bogart. This has been Out of Context Tuesday, and this has been another Higher Things video short.